Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Middle Manager Tonegawa Episode 3. So that's right, we're on the third episode, and this series just continues to be so much fun. I mean, I know we've only watched 2 episodes so far, but it's just so much of a fun series. Um, I recently watched this video put out by Mother's Basement. If you haven't seen Mother's Basement, you should definitely check out his videos. They're amazing. Great anime stuff, even when I disagree with them. He is really well spoken, really well researched, and just really well put together with his videos. And there is a lot I do disagree with him on, but still. Um, his recent video was about the summer 2018 anime season and basically the 10 anime he recommends. Um, and one of those was Middle Manager Tonegawa. And he basically talked about how it is sort of a prequel spin-off of Kaiji and mentioned how into it he is, how it keeps that same intensity that Kaiji had but directs it towards a different focus. Unlike Kaiji, where it focused on the stakes and the just pressure that was put on the characters in their death games, this one's being put towards a more comedic effect, towards Tonegawa just trying to go about his everyday life as the middle manager of the Tei group. It's just been a really fun ride, and it definitely, like I said, captures the same just intense fun that Kaiji had. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see where we go this time. So last time, we had Hyodo, the leader of the Tei group and the psychotic boss man of the franchise. Hyodo came to watch Tonegawa and his men in black, as he calls them. He came to watch and find out what they're planning. So Tonegawa and the men in black as well, were so freaking terrified of him. And I mean, I get why. Like, as someone who's seen the original Kaiji and everything, a couple times actually, I understand why Hyodo is such an intimidating presence. Like, he is legitimately freaky as hell. I mean, just his entrance in the last episode, it's like the door slowly creaks open and he's just staring. And then he just starts slowly sliding down the door frame until he just pops up right in front of Tonegawa. That was fantastic. So he's there, and everyone's trying to basically do the best they can to impress him. It seems like he's getting bored, but in reality, he's just falling asleep because it's late. And at the end, pretty much everything's scrapped, and they kind of have to start from the beginning. But we know that's not probably going to completely happen. We know that they're probably going to go back to a lot of these same ideas that they thought of before, because one of those ideas was the special version of rock, paper, scissors, which is what they use in Kaiji, in the first death game of the series, which takes place on the ship Espoir. So we know they're actually going to go with that at some point. Again, as I said last time, I don't know if that's going to end up being the first death game or not. We'll kind of have to see. But I'm really enjoying this. It's definitely got that same spirit that made me love Kaiji so much, made it one of my favorite anime. And I really hope that throughout the entirety of this series, it continues to impress me as much as it has been. But we're going to find out right now. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So another great episode of Middle Manager Tonegawa. This one even had some really interesting stuff happening. So after everything that happened last time, we had the entire thing with Hyodo, and because of everything that Tonegawa was doing to try and impress Hyodo, he kind of alienated his men, the men in black, which is understandable. So, in order to try and gain their trust back, again, he decides to take them on a company overnight retreat. This kind of little just vacation hangout thing. Um, and he shows that there's a game room. He mentions there's a bowling alley nearby after asked about it because they all like bowling. And he even decides to hold a picnic. The picnic was the main focal point of the episode. Everything else just kind of like meshed in with it. But during this, all of his other employees are interested in this, except for one, Yamazaki. Yamazaki's kind of the holdout. He's the one who's just not really ready to let go of his anger towards Tonegawa. And I like that. I really like that we're getting like a specific moment with one of these men in black, a specific episode focusing on one of them. Because let's be honest, they all kind of look and act alike. They're kind of made to be carbon copies of each other. Because here's the thing, when the original Kaiji was airing and stuff, when the original Kaiji came out, that's kind of what their purpose was for. They were made to legitimately just be these nameless, faceless characters who just kind of blended together in order to create this, like, feeling of, how do I put it? This feeling of like this unified force coming against you, or in the case of the series, coming against Kaiji. All of them were carbon copies except the big ones, the main villains who you saw, like Tonegawa, Hyodo, the red-haired dude who owned the casino that the final arc took place in season 2 of Kaiji. Stuff like that. And it's like, you get to see all of this, and you see how they're all the same, and that kind of works for their character. But in this series, the, again, prequel spinoff, we're actually getting character to them, or at least a group of them. Yamazaki, this episode focused heavily on him, and we see that he's not as easily trusting as the others, that he actually has some reservations about things when they go wrong. But that he actually does have a side to him where he does want Tonegawa to succeed. He wants things to go right. He doesn't want to, like, everything to go wrong. He doesn't want things to be bad. He just doesn't trust Tonegawa enough at the time. So a lot of the episode wasn't really convincing the others, because the others were a lot easier to come over. It was mostly about convincing him. And Tonegawa I don't even think he knew. I do not think Tonegawa knew that Yamazaki was the holdout like that. I think he knew that Yamazaki was a bit upset by things still. Like, clearly at the end, his way of specifically singling out Yamazaki and apologizing to him and offering him the Kobe beef, he definitely knew that Yamazaki was holding out to a point, but I don't think he knew exactly how bad it was. I don't think he was really focusing on that, to be honest. Now, we also had the return of the forced kneeling device. This was shown in Kaiji, as they showed the clips from at the beginning here. And I really like how they brought that back. And we actually found out something about it. So apparently, while Yamazaki was working directly for Hyodo, Hyodo had ordered it. Now, we don't know if he ever had used it before. Presumably he had. We have to assume so. Honestly, it's Hyodo. But at the same time, we don't know for sure. And we don't know how long or how many times he used it or whatnot. We don't know how long it's been since he ordered it. We didn't get that time frame. But currently it's sitting in this warehouse in kind of a little vacation spot, so we can assume that it probably hasn't been in use for a little while. Now, Tonegawa at this point doesn't even know what it is, which is a really interesting idea, because it's like he knew what it was in the original series, so he doesn't know what it is here, and so he thinks it's just some kind of grilling plate. He thinks that the forced kneeling device is for tongs, to hold tongs, and that the little plate is to bring like cabbage and stuff over onto the grill. And I mean, it works like that, very much so. It's actually great for that, but that's obviously not what it's for. And it's really fun because, again, as someone who has watched all of Kaiji, again, a couple times, I I knew what that was like instantly as well. And it's like that's why they were showing it at the beginning. It's I instantly thought about that because they did focus on that quite a bit at the beginning. And I'm like, okay, why are they showing this again? And I was thinking maybe it's just they're going to do a recap of at the beginning of each episode to kind of show where it goes for Tonegawa. But no, there was actually a specific point for showing that recap. So yeah, that's cool. I like that. Um, Yamazaki eventually does come over to Tonegawa's side and joins in on the fun. They eat the beef, they drink the beer, they go bowling, they play games, all kinds of stuff. And they're having a blast. Tonegawa definitely regained the trust of his men. Now, at this point, I think the next episode's probably going to have to focus more on the business side again. More on them trying to figure out the death game stuff. Because now that he's gotten their trust back, I think they do need to move forward with that. I was saying last time after the entire Hyodo thing, I was thinking it was going to start moving forward, start really getting into things. I was clearly wrong, but I'm not upset by that. Because, as I mentioned, I like where this episode went. I like what it did. And not just because I'm interested, I like all of this kind of stuff. Like, I would love to go on a retreat like that. Love it. Playing games, going bowling, having a barbecue in the park. Yeah, heck yeah. Like, I'm not an outdoors person. I make that very clear. But I still would love to go to a barbecue in a park with some friends and stuff. Hell yeah. This convention I go to every year, Youmacon. Youmacon. I'm wearing the shirts. That's funny. I go to it every year, and every year during the summer they have this picnic. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to this year's picnic because it was this past weekend, the same weekend I went to the convention. So I wasn't able to go. But I usually go to the picnic every year otherwise. And it's always a blast. Like they have great stuff to do, games to play. I remember last year they had watermelon smashing contest, and it was just so much fun. People come in their cosplays. They have fun. There's a lot of food, a lot of just friendly stuff. They do a big group picture. It's a blast. I love it. And I've done other stuff like that too. I've done plenty of stuff, just hanging out with friends, eating some great food, playing some games. Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff is great. I may not be an outdoors person generally, but I do love doing it when it's that kind of just social scenario, and especially when the food's really good. Of course, it's never going to be as good as what's shown in this episode, Kobe beef and all. But still, I mean, I'm still game for that kind of thing. I believe it or not, I'm not actually like extrovert or introverted. A lot of people think I'm introverted because I'm very shy and timid, but I'm not. I'm just very shy and timid in real life. In reality, I'm very extroverted. Because here's the thing: people think introverted just means you prefer to spend your time by yourself instead of with others, but actually, it's a little different. See, what introversion is that you actively desire to be on your own. Not just that you're shy, not just that you're very socially awkward or whatnot. If you're introverted, you actively desire and try to be on your own. If you're extroverted, you actively desire and try to be around others. And that is me. I try to go to all of these different conventions, all these different hangouts and events and whatnot. Like I used to plan all of these different meetups with friends and stuff. it's because I like hanging out with people. Even if I'm socially awkward, even if I'm shy, I just like being around people. I like hanging out, having fun. That's why I go to these tabletop gaming nights at my friend's house every month. The one I'm going to this weekend. Um, I go to those every single month because I love them. I love hanging out. I love playing these tabletop games, even ones I've never played before, and even ones I don't end up liking in the end. I still like the experience of playing them with friends. And I've made a lot of friends at those places, at those events. I have a friend named Ashley and I think it's boyfriend. I think it might be fiance. I'm not sure. They live together. I know that they're not married, I believe. I think it's boyfriend. Either way, Ashley and Dan, um, I've met them. I've hung out with them. I've been to their house a couple times. We've played games. Ashley is the one who bought me my first wig, like my first real wig, which is that long brown-haired one, which I haven't really worn in a long time. I haven't worn either of my main wigs in a long time because since I got my hair dyed and everything, I actually like the way my hair looks now, for the most part. Still wish it was longer, but it's growing. It's growing. Um, but yeah, she bought that for me. She is the one who gave me my first set of feminine clothes after I came out. She's been great. I've met other people at these parties who have been awesome friends. So it's like, yeah, I love these kind of social situations. That's what I'm getting at. So it's like seeing it in this anime, seeing Tonegawa planning this just kind of social retreat for the day. It's like I love that. I love it because I can connect to it. Because I get it, and I'm like I can imagine myself doing that with friends. So yeah, I mean it's kind of it's a kind of a personal enjoyment for me with this episode. Because yeah, I can imagine, I can specifically imagine, like in my head, I can see it. Me and my friends hanging out at the park, grilling up some meat, drinking down some beers, just hanging out, maybe playing some games and stuff, going to a bowling alley. I've actually gone bowling with friends before. Um, so yeah, it's just I see it because I've done this kind of stuff. I've been there, and I can imagine myself doing it again because I love doing that kind of stuff. I love hanging out with friends and just enjoying life. We don't have to like do all of this like intricate outdoor stuff. Like we don't have to go to like a some random baseball diamond and play baseball. We don't have to like do like hard work in the field. We don't have to go to sports games. We could just hang out. Just spend time together, have fun. And that can be done in many different ways, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money or anything. Just hanging out. I mean, obviously, in the case of this episode, Tonegawa probably spent a pretty penny. I mean, he gave a big stack of money to the one dude to go grab the good beer. He probably spent quite a lot of his paycheck on that Kobe beef. Yeah, I mean, it's completely believable that he spent a lot of money getting this going. But in the end, the point still stands. Um, Either way, I'm done rambling on about all of that. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of episode 3 of Middle Manager Tonegawa. What did you think of the reintroduction of the forced kneeling machine? Pardon me. What did you think of the picnic and hangout and the way the Kobe beef looked on screen? Like, seriously, anime always make food look amazing. What did you think of Yamazaki having a focused role in this episode? Tell me your thoughts on all of that and more in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad